Hey, Dan with Guardian Mold Prevent here. I want to take a look with you today at a home located in Frankfort, Illinois. And you're probably going to be fairly shocked as we pan around this home to see just how terrible this mold problem really has become in this basement. What happened was this home was foreclosed on. It was taken back by the bank, and no one lived in the house for quite a while, and about 6 to 8 inches of water got into the basement and sat for an extended period of time before anyone realized that the sump pump had failed. And so quite a bit of mold has developed as a result of that. Now ultimately the water was taken out and extracted, but you can see that it was much too late, and the drywall and all of the porous material in this basement have been overgrown by a very bad black mold problem. This basement is in desperate need of mold remediation, and it's very toxic to be down here, to be honest with you. The smell, if you were in this basement, was overwhelming, but the amount of mold spores that are actually in the air in this basement are astronomical, and could certainly affect the health of anyone who would go down here. Now, we show you these videos of these extreme mold problems not because we think that you're going to have a mold problem that is relatively similar in your home, but we want you to see that even in the worst cases, we're able to completely remediate the mold and get the space back to a place where it can be reconstructed and people can live in it. Now, when we walk into a place like this, the first thing we do is try to determine what type of materials are present. There's porous materials like drywall, trim, insulation, paneling, carpeting, carpet padding. Semi-porous materials would be your wood framing members throughout, and then non-porous materials are essentially foundation walls and floors, anything made of concrete. Now we identify these because when we go to put together a scope of work, we ultimately treat each and every one of these types of surfaces differently. The first thing we do is we set up containment, so we seal this basement off from the rest of the living space. In a case this extreme, we would have to clean the air upstairs anyways, but if your basement had a mold problem, we would seal the basement off or section off the affected area. We then put in a negative air machine, which pulls all the mold spores from the air while we work. We remove and discard all of the porous materials, and then we treat the semi-porous and non-porous materials both with a biocide, which is a product that kills mold on contact, and then a mold-resistant coating that goes on to prevent future mold growth. Now, as we pan through this basement, after remediation has been done here, you can see that the first thing we did was we removed all of the porous material as outlined before. We took out all of the drywall, all of the trim, all the insulation, all the carpeting, the carpet padding, the ceiling tiles, anything that was porous, and we got this basement basically down to structural framing members. Now, in this particular basement, the basement was framed out with steel framing, so there was no semi-porous material when it came to the framing of the walls. However, the underside of the first floor deck did in fact, or obviously was framed out with 2x10s and plywood sheeting. Now, once we had all the porous material out, we still treated all of the non-porous and the steel framing materials with a biocide, which is a product to kill mold. We physically scrub them down completely, and then we put on this acrylic-based mold-resistant coating. One item that we'll show real briefly here is an air scrubber. This is a negative air machine, a machine that is put in to clean the air while we're working, and it is one item that will set a remediation company apart from Joe Handyman because we'll address your air quality issues in your space.